Hi everyone, welcome to Outgrow's Market of the Month. I'm your host, Dr. Saksham Sharda. I'm the creative director at outgrow.co. And for this month, as a part of our Forbes 30 Under 30 series, we are going to interview Randy Rayess, who is the co founder of outgrow.co. Thanks for joining us, Randy.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so we're going to start with a rapid fire round just to break the ice. You get three passes. In case you don't want to answer the question, you can just say pass. But try to keep your answers to one word or one sentence only, okay?
Okay,
All right, so the first question is: how long does it take you to get ready in the mornings?
5 minutes.
Most embarrassing moment of your life?
Um, Probably a stand-up comedy set.
Which NFT would you possibly consider buying?
Hmm, Maybe some like a LeBron James related one.
Okay, how many hours of sleep can you survive on?
Hmm, for one day, maybe four.
Okay, fill in the blank. An upcoming marketing trend is blank.
Personalization.
Okay, the city in which the best kiss of your life happened.
That's tough. LA.
Oh, does that mean you're a very good kisser? So it's hard to tell. All right, pick one: Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey.
um, Dorsey.
Okay, the first movie that comes to your mind when I say the word ambition.
Um, Not sure. Pass.
Okay, when did you last cry and why?
Hmm, Not sure. I'll pass, I guess.
The biggest mistake of your career.
Um, Please think of my career. No. Probably mistakes early on in hiring.
Okay, how do you relax?
Sports, dance.
Okay, okay. How many cups of coffee do you drink per day?
I don't drink coffee.
A habit of yours that you really hate.
A habit of mine that I rarely hate. Sports and dance. I guess it's a repetitive answer.
All right, the most valuable skill you've learned in life.
Mm, Persistence.
Okay, and the last question: your favorite Netflix show.
Hmm. Um, I watched a lot of Office in the last couple of years.
Okay, we'll stop at that. So, all right, that was the end of the rapid fire round. You scored 10 on 10. Now, now let's go on to the bigger questions. The first one is: how did you come up with the idea for Outgrow?
Sure. So we had a company that does that basically, in the early 2010s, we were helping companies build mobile apps. And the challenge, over time, we kind of built, expanded that to helping them build, web apps and other types of software. But what we realized was that the concept of building mobile apps was so new at the time, and people really struggled with this idea. So we came up with the idea for Outgrow because we realized that a calculator helping people understand the price of a mobile app based on a certain set of features, and how the price varies by seniority of developer and by location of developer, is actually very informative and very useful. And so we came up with the idea to help people better understand, um, kind of the mobile app landscape at a time where it was very opaque and unclear, and very new. And we realized very quickly that this is a much bigger marketing strategy, and that should be used by many companies. But of course, it does require tech skills and design skills, and it's quite involved to build out. And so we built Outgrow to allow any marketer to build their own version of our mobile app calculator, on their own. And then we expanded that into other forms of kind of interactive tools and personalized content beyond just calculators and quizzes. And so that's kind of how we started the process.
All right. So the first thing was a calculator, and I guess you must have had a lot of clients from your previous company coming and telling you, "Oh, we want to build something similar, a calculator like that." So the first was a calculator, and then quiz, and then how does it go ahead from this?
Yeah, so calculators and quizzes were kind of the obvious starting point. And then over time, we added in assessments. So you can assess kind of people's skill sets or knowledge or understanding of certain concepts. And then we moved into recommendations for e-commerce. So, many times you want to recommend a potential subscription plan or recommend a certain service or recommend a certain product that you're selling based on someone's specific needs. So, for example, you might buy a different shirt than someone else because you're already have a certain set of pants that you like that you want to wear or something, whatever, different preference, different fashion taste. And so being able to recommend the right product is going to help you because it's going to be more relevant for you, but it's also going to help the company because it's going to increase your conversion rate. So it kind of helps both sides. And so then we added that, and then we added chat bots because people wanted to be able to easy kind of lower the barrier to entry for people to communicate with them. And so chatbots make it easy for people to get quick answers and personalize them. And then from there we added contests and giveaways, etc. So that's kind of how we evolved over time.
And in the words of the co-founder, because you are here on the podcast, what is the next thing that you're possibly planning on adding to the tool set, if anything at all?
Yeah, well, so this is something that we constantly are challenged with because of the vast array of requests from our customers. We are in the process of building out additional kind of basically APIs that people can integrate with. We have a lot of people who want to use kind of real time data. And so continuing to expand on that. So now you can easily integrate real time data in based on stocks or based on cryptocurrency or based on certain public data that you want to integrate real time into your calculator. So, because for example, if I'm saying, what's my return on investment on Bitcoin, that changes based on the date you bought it and the date you're selling, or if you're still holding. And if you take the calculator today versus tomorrow, that changes. And so you need to have a lot of these integrations with APIs to be able to do that. And so that's something we've been working on and we'll continue to kind of add. That's a kind of a never ending process because there's always going to be um, a new real-time piece of data or a new data set that you might have privately that you want to sync, and that's a challenge to handle such the wide range of requests that come through.
For sure. And in general, 2020 has been like, quite a unique year. So, are there some marketing or advertising strategies that you used last year that you would want to highlight?
Yeah, well, for us, thankfully, we have a marketing software product that we use for our own marketing. And so one of the things we focus a lot on is what are the ideas or types of interactive tools that we can use to help promote Outgrow itself. It's kind of like, how do we promote interactive tools using interactive tools? And we first created kind of an idea generator. So basically, you put in your industry and you put in some information about your company, and we can basically recommend a certain set of examples or content or ideas that you can use Algro for. And so we used Algro to build our own idea generator to help you identify how to use Algro. So it's amusing, at least for me, but it's kind of an interesting way to not only show people how Algro works, but also explain to them how they can use it. So I did this idea generator works very well for us, and then we create kind of on our 404 pages, or we put our recommendation, or one of our recommendation content pieces to recommend like which blog or article to you should read based on again your needs, your desires, your challenges you're facing, and that also did very well for us. And then of course we have our ROI calculator that we promote, which kind of helps people identify how interactive content um, helps improve not only your lead conversion rates, but can potentially drive some organic traffic as well, and how that can contribute to your business. So we basically center a lot of our marketing around using our own tool to showcase benefits and to showcase things people can use, and how people can leverage Outgo. So that's kind of been the core focus for our marketing.
That's great. And in which industry have you seen the biggest growth for Outgrow?
So initially, a lot of our customers were financial and health, and that still is the case. We still have a lot of financial and a lot of health customers. because there's a lot of questions around those things. But after our probably first year, we started to see a large uptick in kind of software companies, entrepreneurs and startups, and services. So agencies and consultants, those grew very quickly. So now we are quite spread from B2B to B2C, and from kind of e-com startups or regular entrepreneurial startups to kind of SaaS and larger tech companies, in addition to financial and health. So we kind of spread out, but definitely I think financial health started, and then the second phase was tech and the services.
And last year, I suppose a lot of companies must have moved online because of the pandemic. So, did you see a particular growth in an industry or a particular niche where there wasn't much use of Outgrow before?
Yeah, so of course, we saw an uptick in fitness studios, in restaurants, basically local small business that usually were trying to drive traffic to a physical store that were now trying to drive traffic to a virtual event. And so they moved to Algro to help them with their kind of digital marketing and digital kind of their kind of digital campaigns versus their kind of physical offline campaigns. So those were the main areas I would say. Some studios, from fitness to restaurants and those types of categories.
And what advice would you have for under 30 entrepreneurs looking to make their business right now?
I think one thing that is a bit more apparent today than it might have been about a year and a half ago before COVID is that the entrepreneurial journey is a long, is a tough journey, and it is sometimes can be depicted as this kind of linear growth or exponential growth curve. And usually there's a lot more randomization in the curve, and there's a lot more the time that is sometimes at the beginning of the curves that you see these growth curves, the time for that growth uptick, it is kind of longer than most people realize, and so that kind of original flatlining, original flatline is a challenge. And there's always going to be periods where growth isn't as fast as you'd like, or things don't go exactly as you plan. And so it's I would say to make sure you set your expectations such that it's going to be long, it's going to be hard, and it rarely is a perfect straight line going up or anything like that. So I think those are a few things just to make sure you kind of understand, and then give it a shot and see what happens. But it's a challenge for sure.
And do you feel like after the pandemic and all the turmoil the world has been through, do you think it would be a good time to start a business in the coming year or the next year?
I think whatever the year might be, whatever the situation is, obviously the challenges companies and people face are there's always going to be challenges people face. And so the question is, is it the right time for you, for whoever the person might be, to start the company? And are you tackling a problem that is kind of you're passionate about, a problem that kind of you still feel is relevant and exists today? And then I usually say, if those things are right, if you really feel confident that you can do it, if you believe that this is a problem you're excited about and that you really want to solve and spend 5 to 10 years solving, because it usually does take 10 years to to build a startup. Um, then I say, yeah, try it out. I think, yeah. So it's a really difficult question to ask because there's so many nuance and so much variables involved into when to start and what to start and what to do. But those are a few things to think about. There's passion, there's drive, there's need, and you're confident that you can spend a prolonged period of time on it. Then then why not?
Yeah, for sure. That makes complete sense. And the final question is what would you be doing if not this?
Sure, that's a good question. I think I really like digital marketing, and so Outgo is just one of the potential kind of categories and areas within digital marketing that are common. So I'll probably do something in that area, or in like just a different category within digital marketing, or potentially something in health. We work with a lot of healthcare companies, and there's so many interesting challenges problems in that area. Obviously, there's a lot of bureaucracy at the same time, but that's also an interesting area that I would be open to doing something in.
So nothing in fitness of or dancing, like you said earlier.
Oh,
So it will
well,
still be a digital marketing or IT career.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I could be a professional dancer. But I mean, I think that requires quite a lot of. I do it for fun. I do it for the enjoyment. I like freestyle. Being a professional is pretty involved. You have a lot of training. You need to. It's a lot of choreography, um, and I don't know if that's something I would do like permanently full time. But you never know. Maybe in 10 years, you see, I take a side job as a fun. But I don't think that's something I would I would be doing full time.
Okay, well, in case in 10 years that does happen, we'll have you back on this podcast to tell us about that experience. All right. Well, that was the end of the podcast. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this month's episode of Outgrow's Market of the Month. That was Randy Rayess, who is the co founder of outgrow.co. Thanks for joining us, Randy.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Do check out outgrow.co for more details, and we'll see you once again next month with another Marketer of the Month.